Hello. Our morning devotions this morning at my house were from Proverbs 15:20, which says, "A wise son makes a father glad, but a foolish man despises his mother." We had a exciting dialogue conversation about what this means, and I wanted to share some of that with you. You have a lot of things going on here, but the emphasis is on the relationship between the father, the mother, and a son. A lot of people think that girls are harder to raise than boys, but actually, I don't think that is quite accurate. The reason people think girls are harder to raise is because of emotions and drama. And men just don't understand women, generally speaking, and so don't know how to deal with girls and teach them emotional self-control. And a lot of adults don't have emotional self-control, and so trying to teach emotional self-control when you don't have emotional self-control is a recipe for all kinds of frustration. But women become women automatically. Girls grow into women automatically. Their bodies just make them mature women. They have to do nothing, and girls become women. But it's not the same for boys. Boys they owe everything to their mother. They are born connected to their mother, literally. And this is why it is so foolish for a man to despise his mother, because he has a belly button, because he's alive. He owes his very existence to his mother, who made room in her body for him, lugged him around inside her womb for 9 months, let him use her bladder as a punching bag, and bled and suffered to give him birth, give him life, and then nursed him, nourished him, tended to his every need, woke up in the middle of the night all the time to feed him, to change his diapers, whatever. Mothers give their lives for their children. And so it's it's the height of ingratitude for a man to despise his mother. But a boy at some point has to break away from the relationship with his mother, in the sense of he has to reach a point at which he stops being mothered in order to attach to his father and learn how to become a man, so that he can then be joined again to his wife, not to be mothered by her, but to be her husband, to be her head. And that shift is one of the hardest things for everyone involved, and it often goes very wrong. And so if a boy does not have a godly father to walk him and his mother through that process, through that transition, he is doomed to be effeminate and weak. He is doomed to never really attain true masculinity. That's why men have rites of passage into manhood and women usually don't, because girls become women automatically. Boys do not automatically attain full masculinity. They might get married and have children, but if they're still being mothered by their own mother or by their wife or by someone else, they're not really attaining full masculinity. And so a father sees in his son the future, his future. And the future is mediated through the mother. The mother is always thinking about the future, always thinking about how to keep people alive. The father is thinking about the mission in the moment, usually, and taking whatever risks need to be taken to build something that's worth passing on, building wealth, building a business, building a household, building physical things, building skills, building culture. Men are thinking about the project, the mission. They're outwardly focused. They're thinking more short-term oftentimes. Women are thinking about the future. They're thinking relationally about keeping everybody connected. And the future, the man's future, is mediated through his sons, because they're going to carry his name. They're going to carry his legacy. They will very often carry on his life's work, his skills that he teaches to them, the business that he builds for them to inherit, that sort of thing. And so a wise son makes a father glad, because that is his future. Of course, that doesn't minimize the importance of daughters for their fathers, but the emphasis here is on there's a special relationship between a father and a son, because the son will carry the father's legacy into the future. And so a wise son makes a father glad, because a father has hope that in his sons, his name, his legacy will exist into the future, will not end. That's why childlessness is such a curse, and that's why a foolish son is such a curse, because now the future of everything you worked for may very well be squandered, ruined, brought into shame. So a wise son makes a father glad, but a foolish man despises his mother. And it's the father's role, it's the father's responsibility to ensure that his sons make the transition from being mothered to being truly masculine. And that requires the father to do two major things. The father has to protect the son from his mother. The father has to protect his sons from being over-mothered, or you could say, from being smothered, right? Mothers sometimes put the mother in smother. This is often referred to in literature and in psychology as the devouring mother. And often this happens when the mother has no healthy relationship with her own husband, and so she seeks to fill that void in her heart with her sons. She needs her sons. She needs to be needed by her sons, and she doesn't feel the love that she needs from her husband. She doesn't feel secure under his headship, and so she tries to fill that gap, that void, tries to cover that wound with her boys, with her sons, and so she doesn't want to let them go. There has to be a break between a boy and his mother as he begins to mature into manhood. And overbearing, smothering mothers do not want to allow that break to happen. And it can also be the case that they don't feel confident in their husbands to then oversee that shift, that break. They don't maybe feel like they can trust their husbands to take this boy away from them and turn him into a man. So they feel like they've got to do that themselves. Whatever the case, it's a father's responsibility to protect his sons from their mothers in this often unconscious or subconscious over-mothering, smothering. So oftentimes fathers will have to gently talk to their wives about, you need to give our son space to take risks. You need to not be so protective. You need to let him try and fail. You need to let him learn to take responsibility. You should not be trying to protect him and over mother him like this. And that's got to be a very gentle, loving process. But it works the other way too, that a father has to protect his wife from his sons as they are making this transition, as they are trying to separate, trying to assert independence, trying to show that they're a man and show their mom especially, and sometimes their sisters, that they're men, that they're they're not going to be mothered anymore. A lot of boys overreact and they turn hostile to their mothers. They become abusive verbally, physically. They become very disrespectful. They want to challenge their mother. All of this, and it's the father's responsibility to help his son make this transition and separate from his mother in a way that he is still honoring his mother, he is still respecting his mother, he is still submitting to her authority and her correction, because this can go very badly if a boy makes this break, but makes this separation, but in a very sinful, unhealthy way. So the father has to protect the mother from the son and protect the son from the mother and lead them both into this new relationship, so that a boy separates from being mothered, not cuts off his relationship with his mother, but learns to relate to her in a new way, and learns to relate to ultimately his wife, not looking to her for mothering, which is what so many women go into marriage with, this idea that they're going to have to take care of their husbands and mother them and fix them, and that's a recipe for disaster, and that's why so many marriages are so frustrated and explode or just become very distant and cold, because the man wants to be a man. He doesn't want to be mothered. He doesn't want to be smothered. But a lot of times that is the instinct of a wife. So this is really critical for healthy families, and it really ultimately all comes back to the father as the head of his wife, as the head of his household, leading his family through this process, learning how to do this from other men, and then coaching his wife through this process, helping her understand what's going on and how she needs to handle things with the kids, and helping the children, explaining this to the children, helping them to understand what's going on and how they're supposed to do this the right way, so that they avoid all of the pitfalls that are everywhere along the path of wisdom. So that's a lot to take in, but a lot of it is just sort of touched on in this wonderful proverb that teaches us so much about the relationship between fathers and mothers and sons.